welcome to part number 8 of the Link to the Past playthrough. A little bit more item collection before we get to the water temple. I don't know the name. I guess I'll look it up and post it right now. But we're going to get the other 2 medallions. If you remember, in part number 7, we collected the Quake medallion, and now we're going to get the other 2 medallions. The thing about the medallions is you need the Master Sword and the Book of Medora to collect them, because you can't collect them without the Master Sword just because the game says so, and you can't translate the tablets, which you get them from, without the Book of Medora. With the Quake medallion, we didn't need the Book of Medora because that guy gave it to us, or whatever it was. But with the other 2 medallions, you need the Book of Medora to translate these 2 tablets right here. I guess they're tablets. They kind of look like gravestones. And it says, hold up the Master Sword and you will get the magic of Bombos. And it's a pretty awesome attack. Fire goes around, everything explodes. And you get the Bombos medallion. It falls from the sky. And for the description of the Bombos medallion, it says, only the hero bearing the Master Sword can retrieve this medal. The magic of this medallion sets off explosive forces around you, which engulfs the enemy in flames. So here at the top of Death Mountain, do the same thing with the Bombos medallion, and you'll get the Ether medallion. The Ether medallion charges your sword with a cold chill that freezes the surrounding enemy. The Ether medallion has the same effect as the Ice Rod, but works against all enemies on the screen. It's pretty useful. One thing is, the Quake medallion and the Ether medallion are required to beat the game. You need them to enter temples number 6 and 7. I believe the Bombos is not required, but I could be wrong. We'll see. I'm pretty sure it's not. So, you obviously need to collect these, and I think it's fair to make it required to collect Quake and Ether, simply because they're pretty easy to find. Bombos is not easy to find, and I don't really remember how I discovered how to get Bombos. I'm not really sure. I mean, it's been so long since I first played this game, it has to have been like 10 years. At least 10 years since I first played this game, because this was one of the very first games I played. But I'll get more into that later, because I'm answering a question, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. Now we're at the Water Temple. If you go into the Water Temple just right away, you'll realize that you can't go anywhere. It's just a dead end. So you go over to this panel, and you see Sahasha Rasa, or whatever his name is, and you realize that you have to go to the light world in order to affect this dungeon. See, if you do certain things in the light world, it affects what happens in the dark world. So here you need to let out all the water, let out all the water, and then you can swim in the Dark Palace. Not Dark Palace, but the Dark Temple Palace. Whatever it's called. I mentioned it earlier. I believe I did this before in like part number 2, because if you do this early on, you can get a heart piece, which is always nice. And I have a question for you guys. I don't know if you know this, but is this the first game to employ the light world, dark world system? I'm trying to think of another game that did it before this, because now you see this light world, dark world thing all the time in games like, you know, Metroid Prime 2. And is this the first game to do this type of thing? Where the dark world is very similar to the light world? I'm trying to think of another one which does it, but maybe it's a game I've never heard of, or maybe I'm blanking out right now and I can't think of it, but can someone, if you know of a game that did the whole light world, dark world thing before this one, let me know, because I'm actually curious if this was the first game to do it. I believe it's one of the first games, because there weren't any games on the NES that did this, right? I'm not sure. I could be wrong. Post a comment if you know of a game that does it before this. I would really like to know, and thank you. But now I'm going to answer a question. I know it's been like, we're at part number 8, and I haven't answered a question that. And that's because I only have 2 questions, and one of them's not a question, and I know I've mentioned that twice before. But we're going to answer the only question, and it's a pretty short question, but I'm going to extend it throughout this whole dungeon. And I'm going to put the question on the screen so you can read it as well. I don't know why, just because I can, I guess. I don't know. But the question is, how did you get so good at video games? And a common misconception people have about me is they think I'm good at all video games. And that's really not true. I'm not amazing at every game I play. Yeah, I'm certainly better than most people, but if you throw me into a new game which I don't know the game mechanics, I'm not going to do well. You can't expect someone to do well on their very first time playing a game. I mean, if you throw me into pretty much any first-person shooter, I'm going to dominate. I mean, that's just a given, but... Or any Mega Man game. If they came out with like a Mega Man 11 or Mega Man X9, I'd be so good at it the day it came out. Yeah, maybe there'd be a boss that gave me some trouble, but overall, I'd be great at it. But how did I get so good? It really just comes from practice. I mean, I really do think this. I really believe that anybody can complete any of the challenges I do. With enough practice, everything I do is certainly possible. None of it's insanely hard. Well, some of it is insanely hard, but it just requires practice, patience, determination, and, you know, sometimes planning, depending on the challenge. They're not... Things I do, they're not impossible, and I'm not some sort of super gamer. In fact, I don't really think there is a super gamer out there, because all the people that are really good at video games, they've gotten good over the years through practice. No one was amazing their first time playing a video game. You think I was amazing for the first time I played a video game? The first game I ever played, I believe, was Mega Man X. If it wasn't Mega Man X, it was Super Mario Brothers on the NES. I'm not sure which. I was young, I don't remember. I would have to ask somebody. But I believe it was Mega Man X. And do you think I was good at Mega Man X? No, I was awful at it. I couldn't even beat the game until I was like 9 years old. And I believe I first started playing it when I was 6. I don't know. No, it's more like I beat it when I was 8. I don't really remember. It was a long time ago. And you think I was good at it? You want to know how bad I was at it? I honestly thought that Storm Eagle's weakness was the ice shotgun. I kid you not. I thought that was his weakness. I'm dead serious. Like, I didn't even grasp the whole weakness system until, like, I don't know, like my 3rd time beating the game. You know how long it took me to discover that Spark Mandrill's weakness is actually ice shotgun and not, I don't remember what it was. But for the longest time, I kid you not, the longest time, I thought that Sting Chameleon's weakness was the homing torpedo. Like, I wasn't good, and it's not just intellectually that I was bad at games. You think I was good at Mega Man X platforming the first time I played? I couldn't even do like a dash jump properly. I mean, I was horrible. I was awful. It took me forever to get through the 8 main stages, and let's not even talk about the Sigma stages. Just guess how long it took me to beat Bo Spider for the first time. I kid you not. It took forever. I got so frustrated with that boss. I hate that spider. And this whole thing, it doesn't just apply to Mega Man. As I said earlier in this video, this game was actually one of the very first games I played, and I wasn't good at it. I couldn't really grasp the whole sword fighting thing. Like, I was okay at it. I could defeat basic enemies, but bosses, they gave me the hardest time. I was terrible. So really, it just comes from years of practice. I can guarantee it. If you think I'm some sort of amazing gamer, I can guarantee that I've been playing games much longer than you have. I'm almost positive that's it. anybody I know that's good at games, they've been practicing forever, or they've been playing them for a long time. That's just how you get good. You don't just go in and be amazing. It doesn't happen. Certainly not your first time. Maybe some people pick up on games faster than others, and I understand that. I probably understand games much faster than most people. I mean, I get that. I don't know if that comes from practice or that's just a natural skill I have, but the thing is, anybody can do what I do. It just requires practice, and yeah, practice. Practice makes perfect. I know it's a cliched phrase, but I really think that everything I do is possible. Yeah, so don't think of me as some sort of super gamer. I know there's some people that I know that think I'm just some sort of amazing player. I'm really not. I'm a good player. I know that, but everything I can do, you can do too. I guarantee it. Also, I'm not good at all types of games. Even now, I'm not very good at fighting games. In fact, I'm not very good at any of them. Like Street Fighter, I'm okay at Street Fighter. That's because that's the one I've played the most. Mortal Kombat, I'm not good at all. But that game, you can't even take it seriously. It's Mortal Kombat. I'm actually quite decent at Super Smash Brothers, but the same thing with Mortal Kombat. I don't take that game seriously because I don't think of it as a competitive fighting game. I know there's a bunch of like professional Smash Brothers players, I think. But you know, when I play it, I play with all the items on. In Brawl, I play with the Smash Ball on, just because I think it makes the game more fun. And when you're playing with the Smash Ball on and all the items, it gives everybody, you know, sort of a fair chance to win. Even a not so good player could get a really good item and win the game. And I think that's really fun. I don't know why. I mean, if you're playing in a tournament for money and stuff, you should definitely turn off the items. Now, speaking of that, I was in a tournament. I've been in 2 Brawl tournaments. One of them, they left the items on purpose, and it was a very small tournament. There was like 20 kids in it. So here's what I did. This is pretty cheap, and it's a pretty scummy move on my part. But I teamed up with a friend, and these were free-for-all matches. So we teamed up and made it to the finals, and then I agreed to lose so he could have the first place prize. I think it was an iPod or something. And the second place prize was $50 to GameStop, and I really needed the $50, so we teamed up, and I agreed to lose on purpose in the final round to get the money. It's so funny. It's so cheap of me, but I needed the money. I think in the final round there was only 3 people, so we just teamed up on one person. I mean, oh man, it was so cheap. It was so unfair. I don't care though. It was a joke of a tournament. There was less than 20 people in it. It was, and I know some people that watch this are gonna know about that tournament because there's some people I know that were in that tournament. And the person that I teamed up with may be watching this video, I don't know. But I thought it was a fun time. I got $50 out of it, so. In the other tournament I was in, I didn't do so well. What did I make it to the quarterfinals and then I lost? This was back when Brawl was brand new, so yeah, I think I made it to the quarterfinals. Something like that. I didn't do bad. I think there was about 40 or 50 people in it, but I think I did pretty good. You know, the game was new. I don't remember who I was playing as. I don't remember. It might have been Ike, because I love Ike oh so much, even though he's not that great of a fighter. But yeah, that was a weird story. Now you know a little bit more about me. I cheat at Brawl tournaments. Yeah, I don't care. I really don't. And in fact, I think at that same place, they had another tournament for Mario Kart Wii, and they made you use the... I didn't go to this one, but I heard they made you use the Wii wheel. Are you kidding me? Who plays Mario Kart Wii with that stupid wheel? I hate it. It doesn't even work that well. I have to use the GameCube controller. I have to. It's a necessity. It's a necessity. Anyways, in this dungeon, we picked up the hook shot, which is... It's going to come back in pretty much every Legend of Zelda game from now on. And the hook shot is a device that consists of a long chain with a hook on the end. You can fling the hook into a tree, pot, or treasure chest, and then pull yourself to the location of the hook by reeling in the chain. This will enable you to cross holes in the ground or other such obstacles. The hook shot can also be used as a weapon. It's a pretty neat weapon. It doesn't hurt enemies, but it has a stunning effect like the boomerang. And some enemies, you can pull them towards you to hit them with your sword. It's pretty useful. And, we're out of time here. If you enjoyed my Brawl story, share your own experiences if you've ever been in a video game tournament. But, I'll see you in part number 9.